Hello everyone, this is Mr. Speak, and today I'm going to be doing chapter 640 of One Piece, Fishman Island Rising. We got a pretty interesting chapter this week, a lot of more fights. Quick summary, we cut back to the fight, Jinbei and Sanji versus the Giant. We don't get to see too much of it, but the Giant is struggling. He seems a bit more beat up than before. Then now we finally get to see some more of the other crew members' techniques. It seems that Nami's got this new technique. She says it's based off of chemistry. Maybe we'll get more explanation on it later, but either way, she kind of like used something to extend her staff, and she whips it around and shoots electricity into everyone, so it's hurting them bad. Either way, some of the new Fishman Pirates leaders decided, they took notice and they decided to go and confront Nami. Meanwhile, you know, one of them, I don't know, I forget his name. Anyway, he kind of like blends in with the surrounding area, and then he holds Nami down so Icaros could come in and attack her. But Icaros attacks Brook instead. He appears to take the blow pretty. He gets hit, but he takes the blow pretty well. He's attacking with like this squid roasted spear, which is supposed to suck out all moisture. But quick skull joke: Brook has no moisture to soak up, and he's all dried up. In any case, then we get Franky finally attacking them to get them off their backs. So it's General Franky versus Icaros Mooch. Yeah, it just says much or mooch. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's all it says in this translation. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm not entirely sure. In any case, they finally found out why Nami can't move. It was the other guy that was with Icaros before he um he went back to normal, and they could finally see him again. Anyway, I don't know how strong this guy is. So far, he looks to be somewhat of a joke. I don't know. He says he's like headbutted Brook, but Brook didn't notice anything really until the guy spoke. So I don't know. Either way, it's Brook versus Zio, the weird two-color guy that can do camouflage. I don't really know how effective he's going to be against Brook. Brook is taking a step in badass as does the rest of the crew. So I honestly don't know how he stacks up against people though. Still, anyway, we got the guys simply caving around a lot still, and Chopper's giving chase. Meanwhile, another one of the Fisherman Pirates commanders decide to attack Usopp, and they do like a tag team move where Chopper tells Usopp to duck, and Chopper comes up from beneath ground and attacks him. Meanwhile, Usopp's got this new projectile called Skull Exploding Grass. Looks to be kind of potent. We don't see exactly how big it is, but it does blow away quite a lot of people. Anyways, Daruma versus Usopp, the tunneling guy that was tunneling before, and Dosen versus Chopper, aka the guy that tried to attack Usopp before. So they're fighting their battles. And everybody's shocked that they're holding their own. I don't know. The Fishman Pirates do seem to be a bit new at this. I mean, they don't appear to be that experienced. At the same time, they are formidable opponents. Are they on the level of the Straw Hat Pirates? Hell no. But still, I don't know. They seem kind of surprised that these guys are so badass. Maybe it's just because, them being on Fishman Island so long, they haven't seen that many people in comparison with these guys. After all, Jinbei was away for a while. He came back, and they were shocked how strong he was. Anyway, the Giant's not doing anything, and he's really complaining about how like Jinbei and Sanji are really messing him up, even though he's strong and he's big and strong, and he's got the energy steroids backing him up. Everybody else is kind of wondering what's going to happen now because Madame Shirley appears to be okay, but she's still up in the air about whether or not Fishman Island will be destroyed. We cut back to Luffy, Hody, and Shirahoshi's brother. Shirahoshi is still running away, but Hody's giving chase. And the Shirahoshi's brothers want to go save Vanderdecken because if he dies, his powers will fade, and disappear. So they're trying to they're trying to escape and save him, but Hody won't let him. He slices him up with that fin sword thing on his back. In any case, Shirahoshi's just trying to do some maneuvers to get the ship further away from Fishman Island in case Vanderdecken does die. Luffy won't have anything of Hody attacking Shirahoshi while she's trying to do that. Then we cut back to Vanderdecken, and he's in the Noah ship. However, he is not done yet. He is not done yet. He promises to give chase to Hody. However, it proves to no avail. It appears that he's dead. Like, he stops speaking his mid-sentence and he just like drops, and there's like foam coming out of his mouth. I definitely don't think he's unconscious or something like that, because if I remember correctly, certain devil fruits effects didn't stop when the user was unconscious or whatever. So I definitely don't think that he's unconscious. I think that he's dead, which spells doom as the boat just starts to drop. Now, one thing to note about the boat, we see a picture of it in comparison to the Fishman Island, and it appears to be a lot bigger. But it is off to the side compared to how it was right above it before. So if it does crash, maybe it won't be as catastrophic. It'll still be pretty bad should it come to that. In any case, that's how the chapter ends. Everybody's kind of shocked that Noah's falling. Hody is laughing. He's screaming. He's the victor. And that's where the chapter ends. So somewhat of a, I don't know if you would call it irony, but chapter is called Fishman Island Rising. But appears that it's going to be crushed and knocked down to the sea. Again, the boat was off to the side, but we don't know how much the crash would affect Fishman Island. I think it would definitely pop the bubble that's around it, which would cause its own problems within itself. But either way, yep, that's where the chapter ends. Now, I think that one thing that could have made this chapter better was that like they got all the introductions, the verses introductions done with last chapter, and maybe we see a bit more of the fights rather than these glimpses here and there. Admittedly, we all don't want these fights to go too long, especially not with Hody versus Luffy, because we all know that the crew has taken levels in badass. I mean, the only instance where they surprised Nami was because of this guy's natural talent is camouflaging his surroundings, and that was it. Otherwise, Nami would have been ready to strike back. And let's just face it, we know the crew is much more badass than these fisherman pirates, especially if they need to rely on things like energy steroids. As we've seen from the various, Hody encounters, Hody doesn't hold a stick to the monster trio. It's safe to assume that he probably wouldn't be able to do the same to the other crew members as well. He'd probably lose terribly. In any case, yeah, that's pretty much it. So some stuff to look for next chapter, the climactic moment. What's going to happen here? I mean, yeah. I honestly don't know how they're going to stop it. One thing that was brought up in like a quick panel, if you blink you'll miss it, like Luffy, when he grabs onto Hody to try to prevent him from going to Shirahoshi, he comments on being weak in the water again. We already knew that, but still, this is the first time he gets a visual comment other than it like weakening his move. And even then, he's been shown to be pretty damn strong in the water in spite of all that. So maybe it's like a prolonged effect, like the longer you stay in the water, the more it'll affect you, or something like that. I don't know if he's strong enough to be able to do something to prevent the ship to crash. So it should be pretty interesting next week to see how this is all going to resolve up. I think I'll cut it off here. Anyway, this has been Mr. Speak on One Piece 640, signing off. Also, One Piece will be taking a break next week, so obviously I won't be doing a review. I might do some additional videos, but that's going to be about it. Just to let you know. I'll probably put this in the description below.